I'm just no, I didn't mean to like be mean or anything.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so this is the demo video for CPCli, the competitive programmer's command line tool, which is allowed to enhance your workflow during contests, speed you up, and in general just allow you to understand how good or how much you are performing, how better you're performing lately, or how much you've been growing as a programmer. So, first things first, the project itself has a documentation site that should clearly lay out how to use the commands, how they work, how to set up everything, etc., etc. So in this video, I'll just do a demo of almost all the commands, the most important ones, and the rest you can go through your documentation. They are pretty easy to understand and pretty easy to use actually. So first up is actually installing. So on the GitHub itself, there is the actual project. So you can just clone it from there, and then you can build from source. So to build from source, there is a make file in the project directory that allows you, when you just run make, you can just run the file. You can just run the make file in the directory itself, and then you have a global version of CPCli on your computer. And then the next step is actually setting up, right? So when you run CPCli, I'll just run on my command line, so just cp-cli. If I run it over here, so I can see, I can just view a repository for now, right? It's going to open up the GitHub repository of the project. And the next command is actually setting up. So if you do pip install dot, you can set it up, right? Oh wait, wrong directory. You have to do this in the actual directory of the project itself. And when you run that, you can run CPCli as normal, and you can update it. So there's also a Python 3 main.py, and then update is another one of the commands that lets you update the project itself, or the code, and you can build from source again. So next command is actually first time setup. This is extremely important since it allows you to set up your accounts and other very important things such as templates and stuff. So here's how you do it. So you do cp-cli config, right? And this allows you to set your name, your preferred language. Your language has to be in code editor, right? So C++, Python, Java, it's the other ones. Python I'll choose. Preferred language, I already said that. Okay, C++, whatever. Code editor, I use VS Code, right? Okay, so here's my Codeforces username. You have to enter your Codeforces username in order to be able to sync data and actually get the rating or fetch rating from Codeforces API. And then same goes for LeetCode. It's a third-party API since LeetCode doesn't have its own proprietary API. So there is other information in there. So I'll set my username for LeetCode as well. And the template output folder is where your code, when you write during contests using templates of CPCli, that's where they'll be located in the template output folder. So you have to set that, and you have to write the absolute path. So in some cases, it would be /users/ desktop / whatever directory you're writing in it. My case, I've already set it to desktop, a directory or folder in desktop. So I'll just ignore that. So next up is actually setting up templates. So templates are essential since they allow you to speed up your process during contests itself. And I've got a little blog about that over here in general on why they're important. And I'll actually show you how to set them up right now. So if I do cp-cli, that's the global command, the template. That's the subcommand for it. And you can do --make and then the file itself. So let's say I want to write a function to return a value. So I'd write r.py, let's say, right? Return, just, okay, crap. Forgot I had to write the rest of it. But the next part of the command itself is --alias, which just sets a alias for that template itself. So the alias would be return. Let's say I did that. So it would create r.py, and it would open up in your preferred text editor or your code editor that you set in your config. So as you can see, the templates are always located under users / whatever user /.cpcli / templates, and then / the extension that you used over here. Now I'll show you how to actually use this template in a contest or any competitive situation that you need to access the templates very quickly. So this is what the template folder, the set output template folder, is important for, since when you run this command, it'll just open up the file with that template in a specific folder that you set. So here's how I use it. cp-cli, as always, template, right? And then --use is to actually use it. And then the alias in this case was returned, as you see over here, right? That was the alias. And then next one is --file name. and then main.py I'll say, or I already have main.py, I'll just say main2.py because I already have main. Okay, so here, since I didn't write anything in my return one, there is gonna be nothing in here, but it's stored under my absolute path for my CPCli template folder. So let's say I updated this r.py file and wrote something like, I don't know, return, def main, right? And there's nothing in there. Or put a, right? And then return a. Oh my god, I can't spell return a. So if I did this, and then I ran the command again with a different name, right? As you can see, it opens up that code, right? The template in a different file, main3.py, in the same directory as these other ones, as my other output templates, and it uses the same template as the r.py. So when you use r, the alias r, it's going to open up a file in that set template output folder directory with the template itself. So next command. Let's move on to syncing, or actually, I'll show you how to list all your templates that you've had so far. So it's pretty simple. CPCli, right? And then the template subcommand, and then -- list. So as you can see, this shows all the templates I have saved. Yeah. So if you just want to ever see all your templates that you have, you can just run that and see all your templates. So next up is actually syncing. So syncing just means fetching the rating from the APIs for the accounts you set up and config. So my LeetCode username, my Codeforces username, that's what they were set up for. So if I run CPCli sync, it's going to fetch it from the actual APIs itself, and it's going to show if there was a change in rating, it's going to show that there is a change. If there isn't, it's going to say it's unchanged. If it's changed, it's going to say by how much, right? So that's extremely important if you want to actually stay in touch with your ratings. So here's how you actually test code. So CPCli, as of now, only allows to test strings. So that means that if you even if you put a number, it's going to typecast it as a string, and you can only work with a string. It's going to output a string. There's no booleans, there's no integers, all that stuff. In the future, I'll plan on adding actual recognition for data types. But for now, here's how you do it. So if I do cp-cli test, and then, or actually, I'll just go into my actual project directory in order to see. So if I'm over here, I already have a test cases test.py file. So I do python 3 main.py test cases / test.py. So if I do that, so I can enter the number of test cases. So first time I'll enter one test case, and the expected input should be 2, expected output should be 2. So I'll show you what the actual code has. It just has print the value of whatever its input. So second time I'll input 3 test cases. So 12 should be the input first time. Output, let's say this one. Input should be 3, output should be 3, input should be this, output should be that. So if I do that, you can see test 1 failed, test 2 passed, test 3 failed as expected. So this actually works, but it can only deal with strings. It will work with strings, it will output strings. So let's move on to LeetCode specific commands. So this is commands that are only available for LeetCode. That means that they come only from the LeetCode API, and they're useful only for LeetCode users. So I'll clear this for now, and then I'll show you how to use it. So in LeetCode, there's a daily problem that rotates every single day. So in order to actually access that problem, you can just run daily, and if you wait, boom, that is your daily problem for today. So it's going to give the date, just a title, the problem number, the difficulty, the problem name, and the link to the problem, so you can easily access it. So let's move on to Codeforces specific commands. So Codeforces has a lot more commands, since the API itself is a lot richer and diverse when compared to LeetCode's API. So yeah, one of the main ones is, or the general usage of how to use Codeforces command is pretty simple. cp-cli cf. So cf is a subcommand for it, and then -- whatever flag it is. Okay. So first one is -- list, which just lists all the contests, upcoming contests, and it shows the ID of the contest, the name, the start time, and the duration. The start time is in your local time, right? Next one is the -- solved. So I'll do that in my editor over here so you can see clearly. So if I do python 3 main.py -- or cf -- solved solved, and then if I give it, so if I go over here, I can grab any of these problems. So 2121f. So the way it works is that you have to have a contest ID, which is the actual ID of that contest that is different from the contest number. So 2121 is the ID of a different contest, and that comes from which one? So Codeforces round 1032. So let's say I solved the problem sponsor of your problems today. Okay, let's say I solved that problem from the contest 2121, and I want to log that. So I would do the contest ID, which is 2121 slash, and the index of it. The index of it is just the letter at the end. So you put E, and then it logs that problem in and it saves it. So when you log it, it saves all the data. So the rating of the problem, when you solved it, what date is today, or like the streak of the day, the problem ID, the problem name, the index, all that stuff. So using this, you can actually track some stuff, right? If you do streak as a subcommand, so it shows where your streak is today, where your all-time high streak is, and whether or not you solved any problems yesterday. And it will show that if you don't solve any problems today, it will reset the streak. So that kind of thing. And there's another command with the problems that you solved. It's the stats command. Here's how you do it. So Python 3 main.py stats. Okay. So this stats is actually pretty simple. It just shows your highest streak. That will update every single day. Your total problems that you've logged so far, the average rating of a problem that you've solved, and the highest rating of a problem. So that's the rating is 2400, the highest problem solved, and the 3 most common tags of the problems you've solved. So the most problems I solved have DP in them, so dynamic programming. 5 of them have implementation, and then 4 of them have binary search. So it's going to list the top 3 most used tags in the problems you've solved. So next up is statistics command. I've already solved that. I've already showed that to you. There's also a graph one. So if I do Python 3 main.py graph instead, it's going to graph all the problems you've solved over time, and on the x-axis is the date, y-axis is the problem rating, and then you can see that on this specific day I solved 2 problems, not 1, but 2, and on this day 1 problem, this day 1 problem, so on and so forth. I will put the link to the documentation itself. It also has stuff such as installation, the about section, which is just a general debrief on what this project is and why I decided to build it. And I think it's really important if you actually want to contribute to the project, since it gives a general idea of the project itself. And the contribute section, how to contribute, that kind of thing. And the code of conduct, if I can open it. There we go, the code of conduct. Right? So this code of conduct was inspired from a different CPCli project right here. So if you open it up, you can see where it was referenced from. But yeah, that is CPCli, the competitive programming command line tool. There is more to come through Algolyzer, which is a visualizer for algorithms. Thank you.